when it starts to hurt, that's what I've been striving for the whole time. Even when it's sunny and nice, everybody wants to be outside. I want to be outside when it's rainy and miserable. When everybody else would quit because it's lactic, their legs start burning, that's when they take a break. That's when I want to go harder. That's the only edge I have. Where everyone else says no, I say yes. Lean into the pain.
Mm-hmm.
I like real, and there's nothing more real than pain.
And you were telling me that pain gets you closer to God?
I've seen people die, and it's usually associated with great pain. And when that pain is gone, they've passed. They're with God. So that moment where the pain is the most intense, and it's that threshold where you're going to be closest to God in this life. The more pain I can withstand, the closer I am to God. You know, this world for me has been hard, but and I feel tired.
Yeah.
But if I keep pushing and then I can get there, that's where I feel the best. Because I'm like so close to relief.
We live in a complex and ever-changing world, a place that is maybe harder than ever to successfully navigate. The answer is surely to be brave, but it's also to seek and be open to guidance. Mentors are the one consistent through line in the lives of all accomplished people, myself included. So welcome to Mentor Buffet, a feast for those, like me, curious about who helped the most successful among us succeed.
Today's conversation on Mentor Buffet is with my friend Cameron Hanes. He's a hunter, and more importantly than that, he's a friend. Cam taught me that being honest in the woods together is the best way to be. And today we sat down and talked about how he grew up and what made him who he is. Cam's point of view on life is one where honesty is the path to self-discovery, even when honesty means looking at difficult parts of yourself that you may want to grow and evolve from. He is someone who lives by example and has taught me and let me be by his side and learn more about myself. And I know you're going to love this conversation with Cam. He shares about his mentor, a dear friend of his who he lost, and I think you'll be particularly moved by how open Cam is. This is my conversation with Cameron Hanes. When you think about who did I learn from, whether they knew it or not, and it could be about hunting, it could be about just the stand-up person you are, your happiness, your morals, your hard work ethic. Like, what comes to mind when you think about like who influenced you?
Yeah, nobody's really asked me this because it's usually always directed towards a topic, but somebody who greatly influenced me was my grandma. Grandma Heloise is my dad's mom, and she lived on 24th and Emerald. So basically just over the hill from Hayward. I didn't like my home life. My mom and dad got divorced very young, when I was very young, and they were young too. I mean, they were young 20s, but my dad had a drinking problem. So, you know, it caused a lot of turmoil, big fights and all that. So he was gone. And then stepdad came in, and I hated him, and he hated me pretty much because I hated him. He wasn't my dad. He was never going to be my dad. My dad to me was like Superman because he was this athlete, amazing athlete in town forever at South Eugene. And then at Oregon, he was just this legend. I didn't really know him, but I heard stories. And so my stepdad, Greg, would never be him. And then Greg had his drinking problem too. So it wasn't great, but I would get away and go to my grandma's there at 24th and Emerald. She was a school teacher for 30-some years, super smart. She'd listen to Mozart. We'd read. She'd make me saltine crackers with butter on them, and I'd watch MTV or something like that. But that was like my safe haven. And I just remember she had a clock on the wall, and I would hear the tick, tick, tick. And so it was just very, just soothing and safe for me. And I'd ride my bike I lived in Marcola, Oregon, which is about, I'd say 20 miles outside of Springfield. So I'd ride from there just on Marcola Road all the way across town, all the way over to Eugene, stay at her house all day, and sometimes ride all the way back. That was it. So I think my grandma Heloise really had a big influence on me, just for always making me feel safe
Mm-hmm.
and happy.
Was she like a verbal, like a loud presence, like a quiet presence? Like, because you're biking there, you're spending this whole day there. What are you doing at grandma's house?
I'd mow her yard, I'd paint her fence. I'd go to, it was called Eldon's Market, which is just right up the hill from Emerald Street. I'm right on the corner there as you're heading towards Hayward, and she had a tab there. So I could just go put candy and stuff on the tab, and I'd go up there, get stuff, then go back. Like, I think a grape crush I used to get, a strawberry crush. And then, I was supposed to be working for her. She'd pay me, like I'd get paid in advance for mowing her yard, and then also get paid for mowing her yard. So I got
Nice.
like sometimes triple payment. She'd let me drive her car. I wrecked it once. Just, I don't know. I think I would just just read, listen to her music, and watch MTV
Yeah.
and work.
Just be there, and like it seems like with space to both like contribute and have tabs on you, but also just be a kid.
Yeah. And I'd go play basketball at University Park or go swimming down there. So yeah, that's where I pretty much grew up. I would go to Amazon. I just didn't want to be at home, essentially. But
Yeah.
I do have to say, my stepdad, kind of as an olive branch, let's build something here. Cause this wasn't, we'd get in huge fights, and I'd go back to live with my dad. And then that didn't work because I missed my brother. So I'd move back. Anyways, just turmoil. But he said, "Hey, I'm going to take you hunting." I'm like, "Okay, well, whatever." I didn't know anything about it. And he introduced me to hunting. So I do have to say, without hunting, nobody would know who I was. So I'm very thankful that Greg did that. And now he's sober, and he's a freaking stud. He's like 75 now, and he has done 100-milers over 70 years old. So he's tough.
Yeah.
He just was, like a lot of, I mean, I've had issues with drinking too. So I'm not on a soapbox telling anybody, scolding anybody. It's, he came into a hard situation with young kids, and, I wasn't the greatest kid, and he had his own issues, but we made it, and it's fine.
Yeah. And there's something about like a mentor, if you will, or someone that teaches you something that literally teaches you a craft instead of just lessons, and a craft that is even almost has nothing, it doesn't have to do with like the type of person you are either. Like someone who literally teaches you something is very interesting to me. And it's something I don't think we've really talked about on this show before, is someone who teaches you literally a craft.
Yeah.
And I do think it's a way to connect people who may not find other ways to really connect.
Right. Yeah. You got a common theme or common interest. It doesn't matter where you come from. You're working on this one thing.
Yeah.
And it's important. It's multi-layered. So there's depth to it. And it's not just a surface thing. Like bowling is bowling. Okay. I just taught you how to bowl. Trying to knock that shit down there. Hunting there's a lot to it. So it's one of those things where it's going to take some time, and we didn't have much interaction. So I maybe went hunting with him a couple times, but I hated him. So I would just go by myself. And then my buddy started me bow hunting, and but without starting hunting with the rifle when I was a kid from my stepdad, I probably wouldn't have been into bow hunting either.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the moment that, because in my experience with you, there was sort of like a magical feeling of this feels familiar, even though it's very different.
Yeah.
Did you have that feeling when you were with your stepdad and learning hunting from him? Or what was like your, I mean, it was a long time ago, but what do you remember about loving it or feeling attracted to it or magnetized toward it? Do you remember falling into that, or is it more vague now?
No, I mean, I remember everything, but mostly I remember getting my ass chewed for, how when you walk and your pants hit, you make
Yes,
noise. So
yes.
that, he would be smoking all the time, which isn't, deer smell scent. So that wasn't great. But so yeah, I'd be either, yeah, getting yelled at, whatever. And he's pretty intimidating. So I didn't want to be around it. But what I did like, I think what I did learn is this connection to nature by myself when I'd go. And then that felt powerful to me. That felt
Mhm.
important. That felt like, I'm doing something positive. And then if I was successful, I was getting positive feedback. And I wasn't getting positive feedback from anything else other than, when I started playing football and in sports I did. But
Mhm.
other than hunting, there was I mean, nobody ever asked me how my grades were. I mean, I got good grades and I got, 4-point things like that. Nobody ever said one time, good job.
Was that hard?
No, I don't know. I don't know. It's just the way it was.
Do you think it's because that just wasn't important, or
They didn't care.
did you care?
I cared. Yeah.
Yeah.
I cared. That was it.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be the best at what I just wasn't good, but I wanted to be good. So I worked really hard to be good. And um my mom was, she loved me and she was always kind of torn between my stepdad and her kids. And then they had two more kids. And so I always felt like, those kids were more of a connection because they're theirs. And then me, especially being the oldest and causing all the problems with you're not my dad. And, we'd get physical sometimes. Um, so she was just trying to like keep the wheels on the
Yeah,
train,
yeah.
basically. It was really hard for her, but she always loved me. Just didn't really have time to, I don't know.
It wasn't even about why. It was that I have found in getting to know you that you don't care if other people care about what you care about.
No.
You are excited to share it with people, but you care about what you care about.
Mhm.
And I am understanding that that started very young for you. And it's not just hunting, it's been everything that you care about what you care about. And it's very unique to be able to keep caring genuinely and take yourself seriously even if nobody else cares.
Mhm.
And so I think it's really cool to understand where that came from and that it spans beyond, any one dimension of your life right now. It's multifaceted for you.
Yeah. I never thought I was fast. I remember one time I did catch it was a 66-yard touchdown. I remember it was a big game. We were playing Oak Ridge and I broke away. And I remember because I never thought I wasn't the fastest. There was this kid, Jack Devereaux, who was super fast and he was ran like a sub 2 800. So for us, that was like a pretty fast runner. And he was the other receiver. And I was I had a better connection with the quarterback, Don Manila. So he hit me for a 66-yard touchdown. I remember asking my brother at night, we were laying there in bed. We shared this room and he was in his bed and I was in mine. I was like, did I look fast on that? He goes, yeah, you look pretty fast. I was like, oh, sweet. So just little stuff like that. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that's most infectious to me about you, I want to understand that more. I want to feel that is such a positive association with hard work. Like you have a love for it. The pain is something that you move toward and you move toward it with such a vibrancy. That's what I was talking to you about when we ran and we were talking I'm inspired by Goggins, of course.
Yeah.
But there's sort of an energy there that I'm not that attracted to it for myself. Whereas when I'm around you, I'm there's a sunshine to your movement toward pain that I could see myself having. I don't have it as much as you do. And I want to know where that came from.
I don't know how other people feel, but I've always felt like I'm not talented at all. But I said, I've always thought, or like a mantra of mine has been, you probably have more talent than me, but you will not outwork me. So the only thing I'll do is I will outwork everyone. That's it. That's all I have to offer. So when I get to the pain part of it, I'm like, this is when everyone would quit. Even all those fuckers with all this talent, they would quit right now. This is where I get better. So I've just leaned into that and just this is what I got. This is all I got.
And you've seen it work.
Yeah, it's worked my whole life.
So you have seen it work when you do it, and that's why you've kept doing it.
And I think running has been a big part of that too, because I was young when I started school. I graduated when I was 17, and moved out then. But it's like I started when I was 5, and so I went to Dunn Elementary. It was just over there off of South Willamette, and they had a running contest, and they'd say is how much you could run in your own time. So when I started at 5, and my mom had to work at the phone company there, and I would just walk over to school, and I'd go to school early, and I'd run a mile every day before school. So it's 31 times from fence to fence. And I'd do that on my own time. And it's like, I was always getting in trouble at school, wrote FUK on the board and all this shit. People would laugh, and I'd, have to go to the principal's office. And so I was on this red light, green light thing. It's like, if I had a bad day at school, red light, piece of red paper. I had a good day, green light, green paper. But I'd be like, okay, what can I do positive? I could run. And everybody said, oh, you're a good little runner. Good job. And I was like, okay, so I can do one thing. If I go before everybody else before school and run a mile, no other kid is doing that. I'm going to stand out. So that's what I did.
Did they give you the green light, red light?
The school did, yeah.
So did you get more green lights when you ran?
No, I can't remember how that correlated, but I just know that I got positive attention for running.
Okay, it felt good.
I got this certificate.
Yeah, you like that. You like that positive feedback.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I ever wanted. I just wanted to have somebody say, good job.
Wow. And do you still feel like you're someone who wants people to say good job? I am. I'm a full-on athlete. Like, it does help me. I am I wish it wasn't, but it does feel good. I think that's a real athletic thing.
I not know, because I couldn't rely on that.
So when did you realize this kind of feedback isn't something to chase because it's unreliable?
Pretty early. So then it was just about, hey, this is just on me, and I don't care what people think. And so what I've said before, and I remember I said this on Chris Williamson's podcast, but this saying is like, love makes me strong, hate makes me unstoppable. It's you love me, whatever. People say, oh yeah, I love what you're doing, good job. It really doesn't mean shit to me anymore. Now, if you hate me, that's real. I'm like, good. I like that. I like hate better than love. So I'm totally flipped the script because I couldn't rely on love.
Yeah. And I was going to ask how long your grandma was, like, how long was she in your life?
God, I think she died when I was, I don't know, probably early 20s.
Did that correlate to like this sort of I'm on my own mentality at all?
I don't know. It was before that.
It was before that you figured that out.
I've
because you left your house when you were young, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You were a teenager.
Yep.
That's wild to me.
Yeah. My mom and stepdad and my other brothers and sisters, they moved to Arizona, and I was a senior in high school, and I just said, well, I'm not going. And I was living with this girl, kind of staying in the garage of their family's house, the girlfriend. And so I said, I'm not going to Arizona. And so they left. And then they only stayed there a couple of weeks because it sucked. It's so hot. But then I never went back.
That's a lot. That's so, I
Just
mean,
the way it goes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm acknowledging it and like taking it in as a big deal. Even if it's just the way it goes, it's like you're so young.
Yeah, but I mean, I was used to a lot of hard things.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm like, I'm taking it in because it's like Yeah, I understand now why you're like, you don't have that much patience for people who don't want to deal with hard things either.
No.
Yeah, you're very like, get with this or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's because you're unforgiving. I think it's because you know people can.
Yeah, I mean, if I can, they can.
That's what I mean.
Because
Yeah.
I wasn't blessed with anything. I don't feel like.
And you built this. You built everything you have.
I feel like.
Yeah, you did. You really did. It's pretty cool. Today, I want to share with you about my new favorite Merrell shoe, the Hut Mach 2 Slide Cozy, which are my go-to for fall and winter. I love these shoes especially for walking my dog Bernini because they're warm, they have grip on the bottom, and I can slide into them really quickly and then run out the door as I chase her down the street, which often happens. They're warm, and you can wear them with socks, but you don't have to because they have cozy inside them. And my favorite thing to wear them with are sweatpants. These shoes are also good for the grocery store, getting your mail, and even wearing inside sometimes. I recommend getting a pair for your partner though, because they're probably gonna steal yours. For over 40 years, Merrell has been a global leader in hike. For a limited time, we're partnering with Merrell to give you an exclusive offer of 25% off your first purchase using code MentorBuffet25 when you check out on Merrell.com. Do you feel like you have had people you looked up to as like even like a businessman? Like you really have like evolved, right? As a human and like what you do. And like, I'm wondering even in like adulthood, if you were able to find people to like rely on in a different way than you had when you were younger, even friendships, you know?
For
Like someone to call when you're in like a situation that you've never been in before that maybe they have.
This is a mentor buffet.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's a mentor buffet. So I'm like,
I say buffet.
buffet. I'm like, because what I'm understanding is like you grew up and you had this realization that there wasn't going to be such a consistent stability, let alone people to look up to, people to call, people to rely on. And then you figured out how to rely on yourself and you built a life, right? You're very, very successful. And I'm wondering if there was ever a point where you did find people to trust or people who could be there for you in ways that you could not be there for yourself or just support to you in adulthood.
Anytime I talk about my friend Roy, he got me started bow hunting, or he just said, I called him the guru because I'd say he always knew where the good hunting spots were. So I wasn't bow hunting yet. He started bow hunting the year before me, and he was also a year older than me, or 2 years older than me, but a year ahead because I started early. So I'd call him and say, hey, where are the bucks? Whatever, where are the deer? Where are you seeing stuff? Because he bow hunted. So he started bow season starts a little earlier than rifle, and I was still rifle hunting. So he'd tell me. So I'd say, oh, let me call the guru. So I'd call him. And then he said, dude, he goes, you got to bow hunt. He goes, there's nobody out here. There's a lot of animals. And so we started bow hunting. And he was always like that. You know, I think you've seen a glimpse into how hunting works and how men can be as far as egos and jealousy and just talking shit. So especially in a small town, if you start having success, it's just hard. It's just the way it goes. So I started having success, but Roy, I never doubted. He always believed in me, always. You know, there's that saying like, what are people saying when you're not in the room, right? And I'd always knew if I wasn't there, he was always going to say, something positive. So we had so many incredible adventures. We learned like how to bow hunt deep in the mountains together. We'd go into the Three Sisters Wilderness and we went to the Eagle Cap Wilderness. And then he moved to Alaska, I think in early 90s. And I was just we were getting into the hard big hunts, right? The extreme hunts, or the kind of not so much extreme at this time because it's just Oregon, but Alaska can be very extreme. And he went up there because he had a calling. He helped his pastor of church move up there. And he said, this is where I'm supposed to be. So he moved his family up to Alaska. Then I was kind of back on my own in Oregon. But the thing is like, I started kind of ascending and hunting, and he, a lot of people, when somebody breaks out in whatever, there's going to be people that feel like it's a personal indictment on them. Like it's like all of a sudden your success means they failed.
Like a seesaw.
Yeah. Or it's like the crab in a bucket analogy.
What's that one?
That's like one crab starts to make it out and the rest of the crabs pull it back down.
Oh,
So
that's an Oregon metaphor to me.
A crab could have escaped, but no, the people down below brought it back down. And that happens a lot. Like it's just the way it goes. So I had a lot of that happening, and that made me more, I don't want to say bitter, but just more hardened. And I'm just like, okay, fuck these guys. If they thought that I was going hard before, they have no idea. I'm taking it to the next level. And so that's kind of what I did. And me and Roy had like 30 different huge trips up in Alaska. We did, bear, moose, sheep, everything you think of, big bear, grizzlies, brown bear, just the most epic extreme adventures. And in 2015, he fell and died. So the one person that believed in me was gone. He was my mentor. The whole point to all of that was he was not only in my corner, but I could tell him anything and he wouldn't judge me. Yeah. I didn't ask him too much about the Bible, and he was very strong in his faith. And so I'd ask him some stuff, and he would never preach, but he'd tell me like what he believed and how it tied into kind of what we were doing. Because I haven't always lived right, partying a lot, just drinking and driving, crashing trucks, could have, some bad wrecks, total stuff, and could have hurt people, and I got lucky and I didn't, but he would never judge me for that, where everybody else loved to, because they're like, see, he's just a fuck up. We knew it.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm like very interested in, is these people that have the space for you, right? And the capacity to like accept and like meet you where you are and be as generous as he was with you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to not even always know what it is that you needed, but just to be there.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need anything but just somebody.
Yeah.
To not judge you.
Yeah, and especially at that time in your life.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what would it have been like if you hadn't met him?
Mm-hmm.
It's so upsetting and it's so sad. I'm so sorry that he's not here. And yet his presence to you seems like a gift that is forever.
We took what we do very seriously, as far as the honor and the respect to the animals and the adventure and living. We wanted to live life on the edge. And sometimes when you do that, those type of mountains, sheep mountains, are unforgiving. One misstep, that's all. We hunted that country where he fell. I killed my ram there, the one in my house where there's a white one up there on the wall, but that's where I killed mine. And there's a video of me. I had to pull it up off a cliff. It was dying, but it was going to go off like a 500-foot cliff, and I had to run down there and grab it before it died. It was still kind of kicking and get it. It's very dangerous country, and that's where he was just one wrong step. And from somebody who, at this time we'd been hunting, he was 49 at that time, so we'd been hunting our whole lives, but we'd been up there. He'd been up there for 20 years or 25 years. So it's like, that was what we were designed to do. That's what we were good at. And it's still the mountains, Kevin kind of mentioned this on our hunt, Kevin Akers, at the mount, nature's undefeated.
Yeah. He said that a lot.
Yeah. And that's an example of it. You can't win. You can't cheat the mountains. You can't You can't you can survive, but you can't win.
So when you really, really realize that, what then?
Oh, more of it.
I mean, that's a very unusual take.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I do.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know this to be true for you, and I know it to be true for a lot of people. I just know that would really scare people away, you know? And
Yeah.
I think it's pretty special that you have a fully you have a really strong relationship with the unknown, because that's what that is, right? It's the mystery. It's I can't control everything. It's you're so dialed with everything you could be, but you play in a world where there's always mystery.
Mhm.
And not everybody will play in that world, especially if they're faced with the reality of the mystery.
Yeah.
Some people live in denial, so they'll be ignorant to it, they won't accept it. But when you are face to face with it, you're still playing in a world full of mystery.
Mhm.
And that's really pretty special.
I don't know. I like living on the edge. I mean, I don't. It's like sounds cliche. A lot of people will say that, and you're like, "Well, what do you mean?" And they're like, "Something stupid. Who knows?" I just like. So I'm just being genuine. I like that. I like high stakes.
Yeah, you like it. Well, and when we were driving, I know I keep coming back to the fact that we don't have words for everything,
Yeah.
but I'm so obsessed with this that because what I want to ask you is what is the feeling? And I know there might not be words for it, of being high stakes, of being on the edge. Is it like, I am so alive, I am awake, I have purpose, and I'm like, you know what? You might not be able to find the words for it. It might just be an expansive feeling that there are no words for. But because so few people live on that real edge, the one that has real stakes, I'm wondering if we can try to find words for it just because so few people come close to the feeling.
I mean, I always felt like life is a gift, which again everybody says, but it's like, how are you honoring that gift? Are you giving everything you have? Are you laying it all out on the line? Because to me, that's true honor. As far as lately, since Roy fell, so now it's been 10 years, I've felt like when I was successful or he was successful, even if we weren't hunting together, I'd call him and we'd share the hunt. I felt like I still have been doing what I do since he's gone, but I can't share that with anybody. His success was my success, mine was his. And so now I've still had success, but everything feels a little muted. It feels like it's awesome, but not quite as awesome. It's the adventures are big adventures, but not quite. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm pushing more because the feeling is, like I said, lessened a bit because I don't have my friend. It took me 6 years before I ever went back to Alaska after I'd been every year, and I couldn't go back. So finally, my friend Kip, he said, "Let's do a grizzly hunt. Let's try to honor Roy with a hunt he would love." And to me, that's grizzly with the bow. That's what we did. And I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And I want to try to put on a show for him.
Yeah. What was it like when you did?
It was hard. Yeah.
I almost want to ask, did it feel connected? Did it feel performative? Did it feel deep? Did it feel not as deep? Because
It was we went to his house on the way. Or now I can't remember if maybe he's on the way back, but his wife has a room that's called Roy's room. And it's all memories and photos of us and like his mounts and things like this. And so yeah, it was on the way there. But I didn't hunt well. I had a grizzly at 50 yards, and I shot and I hit a little forward, and it would have definitely would have killed the bear. Um, but we had to blood trail it. And what I said on the hunt, it's on the video too, that we made a film called Once We Were Wolves, because that's just like the mindset you need. And and it's about of kind of how man has changed over time, but we were once wolves. We still can be. I didn't make a perfect shot, so I said, "I need to blood trail this bear," and I didn't want any guns involved in the bow hunt. I think I told you, when I hunt, I don't care what it is. I don't take a gun for backup. My attitude is, I'm trying to kill this bear. If it in turn kills me, because that's what grizzlies do, they're very aggressive, they're very dangerous, but if it wins on that one and I die, that's just the way it goes. So, I said, "I don't want any guns on this hunt." And, the thing with Alaska for a non-resident, which somebody who doesn't live there is considered a non-resident, a guide is required, and as a guide, his job is to have a gun.
Mhm.
But I didn't it just kinda sullied the situation, so blood trailed this bear. The bear was, down in the alders, and, so the guide saw the bear first as we were blood trailing, and it was a mortally wounded bear, but he said, "Dead bear," and then I looked, bear raised its head up, wasn't quite dead yet, and, I said, "Don't shoot, don't shoot, I'm gonna go in there." So I went in about from here to the doorway, bear's bedded, I'm at full draw, trying to get a shot through the alders, and, the bear charged. So, Kip's brother was there, Kobe Folks, and then, the guy, Johnny, and, they both shot. One hit it in the hip, and it spun, and it died right here, and I shot, and I hit it in the chest as it was coming. But it was the only bow kill since I've been bow hunting for 37 years that a gun has ever been involved. I don't consider it a bow hunt if a gun's involved. That's why, and also, it goes against my ethos of, I'm trying to kill this bear. It's one-on-one. I want it one-on-one, but that's not how the law works up there. So, whatever the case, he guy did his job. Everybody did their job. I can't be mad, but I feel like I'm supposed to be the bow hunter. I'm supposed to be that's where I'm supposed to shine, and I didn't. I didn't make the perfect shot. And then the bear suffered longer than I wanted it to, and then it turned into this kind of a shit show where I don't care if I get hurt, but they just had a bear the year before attack a hunter and maul him. And so everybody's kind of on edge
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
And then you're on edge anyway just because it's a grizzly with a bow. So anyway, I didn't feel good about the hunt, but one thing I remember at the end of that film, as I was packing the hideout, I was going up the hill and I was away from everybody, so I just filmed with my phone, and I just filmed a message for Roy, and I just said, "This is, you know, hunting is unpredictable, and it's doesn't go as scripted. You can have all the greatest plans in the world, especially in Alaska, and especially hunting dangerous game," where I said, "I tried my best, and I hope it was what we always like, high stakes, big bear, intense moments, and, living on the edge, and I hope you enjoyed watching."
That's really sweet. You really did the best you could. Do you know what I mean? Like
Tried.
Yeah, you did, because you did, because you always do, and it's so it's like there's this part of you that is like, just, you're very human. Like, you're like superhuman in what you expect of yourself, and you're so strong, and you are wise even when you say you're not. You're so wise. And then there's all these moments that I've had with you and in the stories you're telling where you're like, "Oh yeah, and there's a human in there, like a fully human-ass human. Human. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so awesome. And it's because you'd never been in that situation before too. And there's no quantifying grief, and there's no 1 + 1 = 2 with grief. And to lose a mentor like that is like, we don't know what it is,
Mhm.
because, and so even that is like, even that is the truest of what it could have been. Because if you knew how to handle the situation, you wouldn't be human. Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the stuff of magic, is the stuff we don't. And that's kind of how you seem to be living your life, is like venturing into territory where there's going to be some unknown and leaving room for that, and then doing the best you can, and then keep going and have I don't know, like there's also this thing in hunting where you actually have to forgive yourself pretty much immediately for mistakes, because it's so high stakes that if you don't forgive yourself immediately, the next mistake is going to be even worse.
It's going to be tainted by that failure.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you consider it a failure, it's going to be tainted.
Right. And then that can cost you your life.
Yeah.
And so what an amazing demand of yourself is, like, you know, commit, try, and then forgive the minute it's not exactly what you might have gone for. That's not also easy for people to do.
No.
So there's just so much about what you're telling me and being around you that is an extreme way to learn some very valuable human lessons that if you don't put them into play, you don't even survive. It's very cool.
Thank you.
And it's and I don't know what to say, because I'm like, yeah, maybe we have to kind of accept that some people we lose are irreplaceable.
No, he definitely is. There'll never be another Roy. Just like your mom, you're never going to have another mom.
Yeah.
There's some people that
It's so crazy.
we have to go on.
You know, the part of me that wants to help people wants to be like, well, what if people would like to have a relationship like you and Roy? What would you, like, what advice might you give them if they want to feel that way? Like, how can they be there for someone? And then part of me just wants to keep talking about how crazy it is that people are so irreplaceable. But I am wondering about that, because I don't know that everybody has a Roy.
I don't think you can. I think that's just magic.
It's, you find it, you don't make it.
Yeah, it's just, we just both wanted the same thing and would accept no excuse for anything. And whatever we had to overcome, we would. And, you know, after what I considered that failure, I went back last year and we made a film called Redemption. I made a perfect shot on a nice grizzly, and I did what I was supposed to do on that first one. I did it on the second one.
Yeah, your craft is really one where if the job's not done, the story's not over.
Right.
Which is another great way to see life, because you keep going. I think I'm supposed to drink this every 5 minutes. I think I'm supposed to drink this. Wait, okay. Oh. I think I'm supposed to drink this Go Brewing Sour every 5 minutes from Go Brewing. Sorry, you guys know that these are ad reads, but I don't know what this one means. I am drinking this for real. Okay, there. Oh, no, you don't want me to giggle fest. Wait. I'm not even drunk. This is not alcoholic. I just love this stuff. I'm not kidding. I love it. So go to gobrewing.com/Alexi for 15% off your order. Go. We have had really different lives, but also, like, sometimes I think, like, your cells really only know stimulation and effort. And, like, we've both had a lot of stimulation and we've both given a lot of effort. We had this moment when we were going up Pisgah the other day, and you are definitely fitter than me, especially going up hills. And I got super lactic eventually, because we were going up pretty steep incline.
Yeah.
And you told me that when you start getting lactic, that's the moment you work toward, and that's when it starts. That's the beginning.
Yeah.
And as a pro track runner, marathon, what have you, when you get lactic, it's almost like only at the end of an interval. It's not something that starts the work. It's at the end.
Right.
And I just thought we could talk a little bit about not just like lactic acid and pushing through that, but just like people want to have their minds expanded and understand why that moment is the beginning and why that's good.
Yeah, it's, I mean, that's where the growth happens. What I've told myself in my head is when it starts to hurt, that's what I've been striving for the whole time. Anybody and everybody, even when it's sunny and nice, everybody wants to be outside. I wanna be outside when it's rainy and miserable. I wanna be when everybody else would quit because it's lactic or maybe they don't even know what that is, but their legs start burning, that's when they take a break. I'm like, "That's when I wanna go harder." And I just envision my legs responding, each muscle fiber firing, breaking down. I know it's gonna be built back up, so I'm gonna have more confidence the next time. I want my legs to respond and grow, and the only way in my head that that happens is when I push, when anybody else would quit, and again, that's the only edge I have. Where everyone else says no, I say yes, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So I really strive for that. Lean into the pain.
Mhm.
I like real, and there's nothing more real than pain.
And you were telling me that pain gets you closer to God?
I mean, in my head, and these are all just things for me. So this might
That's
probably,
all I don't want. It's
yeah.
what's true for you, truly.
Anybody listening might say this guy is nuts, and you're probably right. But in my head, I've seen people die, and it's usually associated with great pain. And as they cross over, and when that pain is gone, they've passed. They're with God. So that moment where the pain is the most intense, and it's that threshold where you're gonna be closest to God in this life. And so in my head, I've turned it into the more pain I can withstand, the closer I am to God. I this world for me has been hard, but, and I feel tired. But if I keep pushing and then I can get there, that's where I feel the best. Because I'm like so close to relief.
That's a lot. That's like, do you feel the relief? Or is
No,
it,
no, because I haven't passed over. But in my head, I'm like, I've tricked myself into thinking the more pain I can take, the closer I am to feeling that presence.
yeah, I think I get what you're saying. I'm just wondering if
I don't think you can die from pushing hard, like in a long race or on a hard hunt. I don't think you can die, but it's like I've just turned it into, instead of just like running up the hill, instead of a negative, no, that's I don't wanna say the promised land, but that's a special place to exist, and I've just turned it into the people that I've seen that have died, I'm like almost envious when it's gone.
Mhm.
So I've turned myself into like, I wanna get as close to that as I can.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing is that you might feel physical pain, but your mental association with it has
Positive.
is positive. And I think that was a choice you made because of the visualization you have here of that life turning into death, that whole
Yeah.
visual you just gave. And what's interesting to me is, yeah, that's something that feels one way can feel another way in your head.
Mhm.
And that's a shift anyone can make.
Yeah.
And it can feel more true how it feels in your head than how it feels in your body.
Yeah. Our body tries to get us to stop all the time. Our body, you know, the body tries to survive. So how does it survive? By not dealing with by trying to, um, eliminate pain or, I mean, it's just trying to survive. And so it's not natural to push past pain, to push when when any other human would stop. That's what we're designed to do. That's how you survive. That's self-preservation. And that's, as a human being, as an animal, that's what
Mm-hmm.
animals, if they get hurt, they lay down. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's just what you do. You get away from whatever hurt you, you lay down. And we're no different. So you have to tell yourself, I know my body's wanting me to do, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. And yet, I also know that you are doing it I mean, maybe besides with the hunting, but with your like running, you're doing it in a way where you actually know you're not going to die. Like and then you do recover. Like what I'm trying to also account for is like, you're not trying to die. You're trying to have a positive association with going to the edge, finishing that workout, and then living your life. Like you're not a sadist.
No.
And I think it's important to point that out because I know you have an ice bath and I know you have a sauna and I think that's awesome. I mean that this is
I'm not trying to kill myself.
That's what I mean.
There's
and
better
I
ways
think
to
it's
do that, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where this whole thing becomes full circle and kind of awesome and healthy is because
I'm trying to optimize.
Yes.
To me, that's optimization. So everything I do is to get better. I feel like I grow the most when I can do what other people won't do.
Yep.
Again, that's my edge. That's the only edge I've ever had. So if probably people with more talent than me don't have to do shit like that.
Yeah, but tell me why to make the argument for growth. Because I do think some young people in particular don't realize how awesome it is to grow because it's so painful.
Yeah.
And you seem to, your whole goal is growth, right? I'm putting myself through more. I'm waking up earlier. I'm going through the lactate. I'm doing all this stuff for growth. And so I think there's something to be said about like, why is growth awesome? And it may seem so basic, but it may be that we need to step back for some people and say, why is growth so awesome? Does it feel good? Like, why?
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I'm trying to be the most resilient, most capable man I can be. I want to be a person people can rely on, no matter what. To do that, I have to believe in myself. I have to be strong. I have to have endurance. I have to not fold in stressful situations. So the only way I can prepare for that is by these extreme measures, because I want to be there. If somebody needs anything, I want to be who they think of. Like I need to get a hold of Cam. Can I call him? And I've always kind of felt like that. Like, anytime I've lost somebody close, from my dad to my grandma to Roy, I'm always the one who speaks at the funeral. And it's like, that's what I'm here for.
Do you think that you want to be the person that was not there for you, for everybody else?
I don't know. I mean, that was what psychologists would say, right?
Well, it's like if you had a you when you were younger, it would have been pretty damn rad.
Yeah, I'd probably be weak. I'd probably be weak as fuck right now.
Well, isn't that a crazy paradox?
Yeah, it is.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's nuts.
That's everything I had to go through prepared me for this. And then it made me think that if I can survive and get better despite all that, what if with the quote, good life, what people would look at and say, man, you got a great life. What if I could get better from that life? And then I'm just, I'm old, but I could kick the shit out of my 25-year-old self. And I was in my prime, so to speak, but I not even close to what I am now. So if I'm not getting better, it's just that another cliche, I hate to speak in them, but if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. I've always just like, I want to get better than I was yesterday, today.
Yeah. And also to be alive is to change. Like we're changing. This is sort of what I'm writing my next book about is like the minute you stop changing, you're dead because we're changing whether we're aware of it or not. The only things that don't change are inanimate objects or things that are dead. And even those are decomposing, but they're not like changing in a active, alive way. And I think that part of it is that you are you are changing in a way that you're directing. You're directing your change toward strength and longevity and positivity and all the things that you're talking about, all these attributes, capability. And if you weren't changing in that way, you'd still be changing, but you'd be changing in a way that you don't want.
I'm just in control of this.
Exactly.
So I can control what happens to me, how I react, how I prepare for the next challenge. And I just want to be, no matter what the challenge, I don't care what it is. I'm going to be like,
Are
okay,
you ready?
got it.
I feel the same way. I vibe with you. And even on the thing of like, would I even be here if this stuff didn't happen to me? Like,
Yeah.
it's just true.
I was thinking about that too. I mean, I don't know. Have you talked about your mom on here?
Enough. Yeah. I wrote about it. It's
Yeah. But that whole closer to God thing, and I don't know anything about religious background or anything like that, or anything, but I know she was in great pain, I'm sure, when you went in when you were 4. And I wonder what that was. Wonder what that pain, why?
for her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was when I saved her life.
Yeah.
She didn't look like she was in pain. And that's what freaked me out the most, because even at 4, I was like, blood is bad. And this person is like not shocked,
Right.
not sad, not pained, not angry, flat, completely neutral. And that didn't match what I was seeing.
I wonder what pain meant to her, though. That's what I'm saying. It's like, what was her connection with pain?
It had to have been indomitable. Like it had to be, or numb. I don't know what, or it had to be positive because it was taking her where she wanted to go at the time.
Right. That's what I'm trying to get at. Because I remember I worked with this guy at Coast to Coast Warehouse. It's like making $4.72 an hour. But he's like, hey, I'm going to get all summer off. He goes, I'm going to break my arm with this hammer. And he goes, then I'll be in a cast. I can still go to the lake. And he could not break his arm.
Yeah.
He tried. He kept trying.
Wait, it's because he wanted time off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Yeah.
His name was Jess Fassold. But he was trying to hit his arm and he couldn't do it. And it's just like, so that's what I'm saying is self-preservation doesn't allow you generally to hurt yourself.
But I think it's like change, how in order for people to change, the pain of not changing has to outweigh the pain of change.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, but that sort of makes sense to people. Sometimes some of this doesn't make sense to anybody but the person.
Okay, right. We shouldn't be so reductive, and I shouldn't.
Because people say that.
Yeah, I get it. And I think it's like disrespectful to people to like infantilize them as if we know when we can't really know.
I don't know what's going through people's
we can't.
brains. Yeah.
But it's something you're saying. We're not here to answer that question. We're here to just say it's a question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Because for Jess, it meant he could get a long vacation.
Right.
He could break his arm.
He must not have wanted the long vacation enough to,
not
to
enough.
go through that
He couldn't
pain.
turn it into a positive.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I'm thinking back to your relationship with pain. And it's probably also why you can like exercise alone a lot. I think that's some people have a lot of trouble with that even, but you have such a strong relationship with how this like movement is connecting you with yourself and your purpose that I wouldn't imagine you'd want a bunch of people around all the time. Like you're not going to go to a group fitness class.
No, I mean, I have. I've done all that, but it's, then you're affected by other people or impacted, just their energy, or it's just like hunting. I've always liked hunting by myself because I don't want to have to explain myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to explain why I'm doing, like, if I told somebody, hey, I want to go work out, they'd be like, yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, we're going to carry this rock up the mountain. They're like, what? I'm not doing that. So I don't have to convince anybody that this is a good idea. I just do it.
Yeah, you're not here.
I don't care what people do or think.
Yeah, and that goes back to your childhood of I don't care if people care about my good grades.
Yeah, I don't.
They matter to you.
Yeah.
This is a random question, but I didn't ever ask you when we're hanging out. Is there something that you've learned from Courtney that you could share?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was totally wrong on, she talks about the pain cave.
Uh-huh.
So I was completely wrong on what that was. I thought that was just like, okay, we lean into suffering, kind of how I do. And she just said, no, what she's thinking about in the pain cave is like, it's the same cave every time. It's not a
Oh,
different cave. And all she's doing is making it bigger. And what she's thinking about is this act of hitting the chisel with the hammer and rubble falling. And it's not about pain.
it's about a home
It's
for
about
it.
work. It's about thinking about something other than the pain. She's thinking about making this bigger. And I was like, is there fucking furniture in there? She's like, no, no furniture yet. But she'll like, and then she makes like separate tunnels. And then this tunnel might be one race.
That is so awesome to
Yeah.
me.
So I was like, because people are like, oh, I got to get in the pain cave. I'm like, well, that's not what she's talking about.
She's talking about building like a literal pain
She's
cave.
breaking rock.
Yeah. She's building a space.
Yeah. And so she has a task. What she's thinking about is a task.
Mm-hmm. And every step she continues is another on the
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's just rock falling.
But it's a beautiful way to use your imagination.
Yeah.
And to kind of
It's her brain. She's just found a way to use her brain in a way I haven't heard anybody else use it.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it because it takes you out of your physical body, which is probably in pain, and
Oh,
brings
yeah, of
you
course.
right, and it brings you into this little cartoon world of
Yeah.
building a cave in your head.
Yeah. So that I've learned that from her. I've learned just work. She works so hard. I mean, she just will outwork everyone.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's hard to know what a human body can withstand, but she's proven it can withstand a lot.
Yeah.
You remind me of her in just that she's super curious. Like she, was a biology teacher, so we talk about animals and just I talk about hunting a lot with her when we're running, and yeah, she just asks like a million questions about stuff, and it's just fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that with me because I admire her a lot too.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. I want to know when Cameron Hanes wakes up in the morning though. Do you have an alarm?
I just don't sleep. No. I mean, I set an alarm, but it never goes off.
Yeah, you told me you don't sleep.
I don't. I mean, I was up at 4 this morning.
I just want to fix that problem for you, but that's just
I'd love to sleep. Yeah, I can't. It's just, there's always something to think about.
So you have adult ADD like me where your brain associates?
Can't stop thinking.
Can I mentor you for a second?
Yeah, I want you to.
My brain can't stop thinking either, which I heard is a quality of adult ADD, which is also a superpower that we talked about because hyperfocus. But I couldn't fall asleep for a really long time. And then I started to need to imagine things that were not in the material that I wouldn't associate with. And so I needed to imagine visualizations that had nothing to do with my real life. And I'm talking about if I just imagined myself falling asleep in the woods, for example, I would start to think about, I've been in the woods so many times, I would think about a real circumstance and then a person, then I'm somewhere and then I'm anxious and all these things. And so I literally have to place myself in like half of an acorn shell and it's like floating in space, or I'm on like, I love moss, but sometimes that one brings me to Oregon, which associates me, but it'll be like a leaf. I'll be laying on a leaf or but it needs to be outside, or like purple, soft thing in the night sky. Like I'll just imagine myself in things that have nothing to do with my life. And the minute it starts jumping to an association, I have to figure out a new home for my body. And that will let me go to sleep because I'll stop doing those associations.
Okay.
And it's up to you, right? And the minute they stop working, you have to get a new one.
Yeah. My wife was wanting me to ask you about this.
Oh, yeah. She's a bravey, right?
Yeah, definitely.
When I say, are you a bravey? It's so weird, but it's like a thing. It's people are bravies. But she's a bravey.
Yeah.
And Taryn's a bravey.
Yeah, because
I adore Taryn.
I don't know, sometimes I think sleep is such a waste of time. I just feel like I'm just wasting time at night, and I'm like so I'll get up and I'll go running because 'cause I'm like, "I'm not what's the point of laying here? I could be getting better."
But that's not how the
Yeah,
physiology works.
I'm not smart, so this is just another example of that.
Yeah, but I understand the intellect. I just also understand the science of sleep.
Oh, yeah,
Wait, what did she want you to ask me about
about
sleep?
sleeping, yeah.
Like if I'm an
'Cause
advocate for
yeah,
it
well,
or
no,
how
'cause
to.
that, we watched that one New York Times thing, and I think that story on
Oh,
you, and they
okay.
said that you were only sleeping like an hour a night for a while.
Yeah, that was when I had my post Olympics. It was when
Right.
after the Olympics, my coach Ian was like, you should move to Mammoth. I was in sponsor negotiations. I tried to move, change sponsors, change events, was in real anxious time with my now ex, like really crazy stuff. And so I had anxiety through the roof and I couldn't sleep except for like an hour a night. And they say depression is a disease of depletion, meaning like it's your nervous system. It's an injury like on
Mhm.
your brain, which can happen in any number of ways, but it can definitely happen if you're not sleeping.
Mm.
And so I think the sleeplessness led to more sleeplessness, and the anxiety led to more
Right.
sleeplessness. And then the sleeplessness led to more anxiety. And then I think I
It's
had
not a good path.
literal, yeah. And I think my brain was like, had like an injury on it, like physical
Mm.
changes.
Mm.
And so I believe in sleep strongly. I feel different if I'm not sleeping 8 to 10 hours consistently. I notice.
Mm.
I get away with it and do the things I need to do, but I'll
Yeah.
have to catch up.
Right.
And I feel so different when I sleep.
Mm.
And I think it's like one of those things like being in shape. If I could liken it to that for you, is that you don't even realize how great it feels to feel in shape until you're there.
Right.
You know kind of how bad it feels to feel out of shape, but you don't really understand how great you can feel till you feel great.
Mhm.
And I think feeling rested is that way, where like once you get it, you realize what it really is.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I think that there's ways for you to work toward it that are both like habitual and gradual. Like it's not just going to happen. Like if you're not in the habit of sleeping, your body's going to need to like slowly adjust to it.
Yeah.
But it is a superpower, and it is the most, I think, contributive to like strength and recovery, in addition to, it's the other half of all the things you're doing. It's
Yeah.
like the yin and the yang, and it's just not,
Yeah.
it's the other half. Okay, well, I can't wait for you to figure that out. I used to sleep so well in Eugene too, so I know it's a place you can sleep. Foggy,
Yeah.
it's calm.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think you can get there. It's just going to be figuring out what works for you.
Right.
And probably getting into bed earlier. Like you have to give more time than you are going to get. Like you have to be in bed for 10 hours to sleep for 9 or 8. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, and you know, they call it falling asleep because it's something you like let happen, not forced to happen. So it's like, how do we give ourselves that space to let it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk a lot more about it, but that dissociating and imagining things outside your life is really helpful for me.
I'll try that.
Yeah. I mean, I also eat these like, I have like a sleep chocolate that's not melatonin because that's the stuff you're supposed to be making naturally.
Right.
Yeah.
I've
And
heard
I'll
that.
take Epsom baths at night sometimes. Like there's stuff that like does kind of take your vibration down. But yeah, the dissociative objects in nature that you find yourself sleeping on, you'll be like a little cherub sleeping on some, I don't know what. I'm not going to give you too many ideas because
No.
you need to think of these yourself.
I'll come up with something.
Yeah. Well, Kim, I feel so grateful. I'm like, I feel like maybe people feel this way about you, but I feel connected to you. You're going to be my friend for the rest of my life. And I'm very grateful to you.
Likewise.
And thank you for sharing about these really important people in your life and irreplaceable people that you're living, embodying what it is that they gave you. And you're a rare, radiant person. And I hope that you feel supported by people around you because you're supporting so many people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thankful for our friendship, and you're a good listener, and I feel lucky to know you.
If you're enjoying Mentor Buffet, follow Voicing Change for more inspirational and truly life-affirming content from shows like Soul Boom, The Proof, Feel Better, Live More, and the Rich Roll podcast. Just go to voicingchange.media. That's voicingchange.media for a beautiful selection of productive and positive shows.